Good day to you all. Learner's Note is an online solution to encourage the better ways of education among our children. I am Deepthi and I am your biology teacher. And today I am here to teach you a subject called the fundamental unit of life. So, what is the fundamental unit of life? What is meant by fundamental? Fundamental means something which is a necessary base. It is a necessary base. So, what is the fundamental unit of life? What is the fundamental unit of a living organism? Yes, it is none other than a cell. Cell is known as the fundamental unit of a living organism. Cell is known as the fundamental unit of living organism, because all living organisms are made up of different type of cell. If we look for a definition for cell, we can say that cell is the structural and functional unit of living organism. It is the structural and functional unit. What is meant by structural unit? Why called so? Because living organisms are made up of cell. We know that each and every living organisms are made up of cell. Structural means we can compare the arrangement of cell in a living organism to the arrangement of bricks during the construction of a house. How the bricks are arranged in a house, like that the cells are arranged in living organism. And it is the functional unit. Why called so functional unit? Because cell is necessary for all the essential functions of our life. All the life process are controlled by the cell. And Robert Hooke was the first scientist who observed the existence of cell. Robert Hooke in 1665. He was the first scientist who observed the existence of cell. So, cells are essential for performing various life processes, hence it is known as functional unit. So, cell is the structural and functional unit of living organisms. And we can divide organisms into two types based on the number of cells they possess. That is unicellular organisms and multicellular organisms. Organisms can be divided into unicellular organisms and multicellular organisms. What does mean by unicellular organism? Yes, from the name it is clear, right? Unicellular organism possesses a single cell. It contains only a single cell. That single cell is enough to perform all the functions of their body. That single cell enough to perform all the life process. Reproduction is there, respiration is there, locomotion is there. All the life process are controlled by that single cell. Example for unicellular organism, bacteria. Bacteria are unicellular organism. Yeast is a unicellular organism. But whereas in multicellular organism is made up of more than a single cell. More than one cell are present. In multicellular organisms, each cell possesses a specific function. In multicellular organism, each cell possesses a definite function. For example, red blood cells. What are red blood cells? That is RBC. It can be seen in the blood. What is the role of red blood cells? Red blood cells carries oxygen and carbon dioxide. So, the function of red blood cell is to carry oxygen and carbon dioxide. Like WBC. WBC is the white blood cell. What is the role of WBC? It take part in immune system, right? It take part in immune system. They destroy pathogens. So, in multicellular organism, a clear division of labor is there. Each cell has a definite functions. So, cells, the organisms can be divided into unicellular organisms and multicellular organisms based on the number of cells. And today in this chapter, we are discussing about what is cell and different parts of the cell. What are the different parts of the? Mainly we are discussing about the structure of the cell. Okay. So, what are the different parts of the cell? Parts of the cell can be divided into cell wall, cell membrane, cytoplasm and cell organelles. Cell wall is the outer covering of the cell. It is the outer covering of the cell and it is very rigid. It is very rigid because it gives protection to the internal contents of the cell. So, it is very rigid. And cell wall give a shape to the cell. In animal cell, cell wall is absent. But in plant cell, a definite cell wall is there. Because of the absence of cell wall in animal cells, some of the animal cell can change their shape. For example, WBC can change their shape. So, because they do not have any cell wall. Okay, so cell wall, it is the outer covering, it is rigid and it maintain shape and also it give protection. And what about cell membrane? Inner to the cell wall. Inner to the cell wall, we can see a cell membrane. It is a lipid bilayer. It is made up of lipid bilayer. 2 layers of lipid can be seen in the cell membrane, and it is semi-permeable. What is meant by semi-permeable? They allow the passage of material, or they permit the passage of material into and out of the cell. So, inner to the cell wall, we can see a cell membrane. Okay, is it clear? Yes. Next is cytoplasm. Cytoplasm, inner to the plasma membrane, we can see cytoplasm. It is a jelly-like ground material. Cytoplasm is a jelly-like ground material. All the cell organelles or the cell organelles are embedded in the cytoplasm. So, cytoplasm is the jelly-like ground material and cell organelles are embedded in the cytoplasm. Also, cytoplasm provide shape to the cell. Okay, these all are about the parts of the cell. Here we can see a typical plant cell. Here we can clearly see there is cell wall is there. Cell wall is there. Inner to the cell wall, there is plasma membrane is there. Inner to plasma membrane, cytoplasm. All the cell organelles are embedded in the cytoplasm. What are the different cell organelles? Nucleus, Golgi bodies, ribosomes, all are embedded in the cytoplasm. Okay, is it clear? So, in this session, we are mainly discussing about cell organelles. Cell organelles, we already said that cell organelles are embedded in the cytoplasm. From cell organelles, today we are discussing about the brain of the cell. What is the brain of the cell? So, what is the role of brain in our body? What is the role of brain in our body? Yes, it is the control center. Brain is the control center. Brain controls all the functions of our body. Like that, cell possesses a brain. What is the brain? Can you guess what is the brain of the cell? Yes, it is the nucleus. Nucleus is known as the brain of the cell. So, nucleus is located in center of the cell. It is centrally located. Nucleus is a cell organelle and it is known as the brain of the cell and it is centrally located and it is the largest cell organelle. This is the brain of the cell. Here we can see the nucleus. Here we can see the nucleus. This is the nucleus. So, it is the largest cell organelle. Among other cell organelle, nucleus is the largest one. Okay, so in this session, we are discussing more about nucleus. What is nucleus? Where it located? What are the different components of nucleus? So, what is the importance of nucleus? All these things will be discussed in this session. Okay, so nucleus is known as the brain of the cell. Then, nucleus, we already said that it is centrally located and it is the largest cell. Okay, next is what are the different components of nucleus or the parts of the nucleus? We already discussed about the parts of the cell. Now we are discussing about the parts of the nucleus. The parts of the nucleus can be divided into two types, that is nuclear envelope and nucleoplasm. Here we can compare the nuclear envelope into the plasma membrane or the cell membrane of the cell. Why say so? Because nuclear membrane, what is the role of cell membrane in a cell? Cell membrane protect the internal content of the cell, right? It allows the passage of material, right? So, like that, nuclear membrane protect the internal content of the nucleus. It allows the passage of material. Okay, so the parts of the nucleus is composed of nuclear membrane and nucleoplasm. Nuclear membrane can be compared to the cytoplasm of the cell because nuclear membrane is double layered. It is double layered structure. It allows the passage of material. It protects the internal content of the cell. And nucleoplasm. Here we can compare the nucleoplasm with cytoplasm. Why? Because what is the role of cytoplasm? Cytoplasm carries all the cell organelles, right? So like that, nucleoplasm carries the internal content of the nucleus. Clear? So there is two parts in the nucleus, that is nuclear envelope and nucleoplasm. Here we can see a typical structure or typical figure of a nucleus. Here we can see that this is the nuclear membrane. Here we can see a double layered nuclear membrane. And in the nuclear membrane we can see a number of pores. Number of pores are here. These pores are known as nucleopores. These nucleopores are responsible for the transfer of material. Transfer of material from nucleus to outer side of the nucleus. From the outer cytoplasm to the internal content of the nucleus. So nucleopores are responsible for this transfer and it is double layered. Okay, inner to the nuclear membrane, here we can see the nucleoplasm. It can be compared to the cytoplasm of the cell. So hope you all clear about the typical structure of nucleus. Okay, so there are two, it is composed of two parts, mainly nuclear envelope and nucleoplasm. Next we are going to discuss about what is nucleoplasm and what are the different materials present in nucleoplasm. We already said that cytoplasm contains different cell organelles. Nucleus is a cell organelle. Now we are discussing about nucleus. Okay, in the nucleus we can see nucleoplasm. So what is a nucleoplasm? It is we already said that nucleoplasm is a liquid ground material. Right? So in nucleoplasm we can see two different type of material, that is a nucleolus and a chromatin material. Nucleolus and a chromatin material. Here we can see that this is the nucleolus. This is the nucleolus. It is a spherical structure, can be seen in the nucleoplasm. It's a spherical structure. And also in the nucleoplasm we can see a number of thread-like structure arranged like this. That is known as chromatin material. So nucleoplasm contains nucleolus and chromatin material. Here we can see that. Here this is known as the, shows only the chromatin material, right? Chromatin materials are thread-like structures arranged in the nucleoplasm. Clear? So these all are about nucleoplasm. In a normal cell, considering a normal cell, we can see only that is thread-like material, that is chromatin material. In a dividing cell, during the time of cell division, this chromatin material or this thread-like structure will coil and condensed to form a structure called chromosome. That is chromosome. In a normal cell, we can see the chromatin material, that is in a thread-like form. The chromatin material do not possess any definite shape or structure. But during cell division, what happens is that this chromatin material will be coiled and condensed to form a structure called chromosome. So chromosome is only visible during cell division. Clear? In a normal cell, we can see only chromatin material. And what is the basic thing of chromatin material? Chromatin material is made up of what? It is made up of DNA and different proteins, combined with different proteins. Chromatin material is made up of DNA combined with different proteins. So in the next session, we are discussing about chromosomes. Okay. What are chromosomes? Here we can see the diagram, that is, this is a nucleus. It shows the noodles-like structure. Can you see a noodles-like structure inside the nucleus? Yes, it is the chromatin material. It is the chromatin material. During cell division, this chromatin material will condense to form a structure called chromosome. Chromosome possesses a definite shape. It possesses a definite shape and definite structure. So, it is only visible during cell division. Clear? It is only visible during cell division. Next, we are going to discuss about chromosome. How chromosome? What are the contents of chromosome? What is the basic thing present in chromosome? Okay. So, chromosome is made up of DNA and proteins. Chromosome is made up of DNA and protein. DNA can be seen in the nucleus. Chromatin material is also made up of DNA. During cell division, this chromatin material will condense to form chromosome. So, chromosome is made up of DNA and proteins. What are the proteins present in DNA? That is, for example, histone proteins. Histone proteins can be seen combined with DNA. So, DNA is the basic unit of chromatin material. A functional segment of DNA is known as genes. A functional segment of DNA is known as genes. Gene is responsible for transfer of all the characters. Genes is responsible for transfer of characters, and also it is responsible for all the functions of our body. It is responsible for all the functions of our body. Earlier we say that nucleus is the brain of the cell and it controls all the functions of the cell because the genes are present in the nucleus. Genes are present in the nucleus. Genes are responsible for all the functions of our body. Clear? So, what are the things we discussed today? That is, what is cell? What are the different components of the cell? And what are cell organelles? In the cell organelles, we are mainly discussed about nucleus. We all know that living organisms are made up of different type of cells. In multicellular organism, each cell possesses a definite function. Okay, so living organism is made up of different type of cell. In the cell, we can see different cell organelles. Nucleus is a cell organelle. Inside the nucleus, what we can see? That is chromatin material. Chromatin material is called, it is DNA. The functional segment of DNA is known as a gene. Yes, gene is responsible for all the functions of our body. Right? So, other cell organelles and other features will be discussed in the next class. Okay, thank you. Hope you all have a fair understanding of today's video and keep watch our videos. There are plenty of videos are there related to your syllabus. Please visit www.learnersnot.com. I am Deepthi, your biology teacher signing off. Let's catch up through Learners Not online classes. Thank you.